Hello there, my name is Eric, and welcome to one of the first videos in a series of videos about new media marketing in tourism. There's a bunch of different concepts in that title in this course. New media, which we'll be covering a little bit later, marketing, which we'll be talking about in the most basic form in this video, and then we'll be trying to focus those two concepts into tourism contexts specifically. Again, my name's Eric. Welcome to Together Learning. Let's talk about what is marketing. Well, the first activity that we'd like to try and do when we're thinking about the definition or the meaning of marketing is what it means to you personally. A lot of people, when you think of marketing, may think of different things. And I would like for you to just take a moment and think about what your image of marketing is. What does a marketer do? What does a marketing representative do? What does a chief marketing officer do at a company? What is the main purpose of marketing? These are all questions that we'll be trying to discuss in this first section of this course. Got anything in mind? Well, you can see some common answers here on the bottom of this slide, right? Advertising, sales. Some people connect some more negatively connotations to it, negative connotations to it, like manipulating people into doing things or buying things. Some people just think of it, marketing, as the exchange, right? If you take marketing, the ing, the verb-age out of it, there's the market, right? A place to exchange and buy and sell things. The distribution, right? How you get your products from made to deliver them and how they get into the customer's hands. The messaging, the product design, the branding, the imaging that you want to communicate to potential customers, or how a company or a product or a service communicates themselves to potential people that would want to consume those products and services. There's a whole bunch of different things, different ideas, different concepts being thrown around already about what is marketing. So as a first task, we'd like to try and ask you to try and make your own specific meaning about marketing, because we're going to come back to your meaning as it relates to marketing in just a minute. Does anyone recognize this image? It's from a famous movie by a famous director and a very famous actor. It's called The Wolf of Wall Street, directed by Martin Scorsese, and the actor is Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's a story based on the real life happenings of a true Wolf of Wall Street, a master of salesmanship. And that's what a lot of people think about when they think of marketing, but they're not quite the same thing, right? The ability to communicate the need of a product or service to another person in order to entice them, to appeal to them, to make a purchase or to change their behavior in some fashion. A lot of people connect this activity to marketing, and this is one of the most famous scenes in this movie. This often happens when trying to do sales promotion or sales training, trying to have someone practice the technique, the art of sales, right? And they'll do I have a pen here? Yes, I do. Have a pen to someone and ask them to sell me this pen. Right? Sell me this pen. And this activity, although it's not quite marketing, although you could consider it the part of the marketing process, the part of the marketing concept, it could be misleading to think of marketing as sales. But this activity, this simple idea of having you, the learner, try and sell me a pen is essential to a lot of the ways that we want to communicate and um, do our marketing practices. Here's what I mean. So, marketing means a lot of things to a lot of different people. So, if we're trying to figure out what marketing means to you, the act of trying to sell a person a pen is a good mental experiment into all the different things that go into marketing. So, first thing that many people try to do when they sell that pen is to try to extol why it is a good product to buy, right? This is a good pen. It weighs good. It feels good in your hands. It writes well. It glides on the paper. Other people try to concentrate on the specific person and why they might need a pen and create some sort of urgency around it, right? I hear that you use a pen every day and you'll need a good one. Isn't the things that you write important to you? Don't you write? Aren't you a writer? Don't you sign important contracts on a daily basis? Don't you need to write down the great ideas in your head? So what that portion is doing is connecting the need of the potential buyer, potential consumer, and what value that pen has to them, right? Other people might even come up on different ways of trying to sell you that pen, right? They might say, I will give you this pen and therefore you can go out and resell it to other people for more money. So this pen is not just an opportunity for you to write things, it's an opportunity for you to go out and resell it at a different price because I have this amazing opportunity for you to go in and redistribute it in some fashion or form, right? So we're going back to some of these terms that we talked about before. Another person may just show the pen and do a dance or show you a song or create some type of emotion to connect to that pen. Even though they're not trying to sell you the pen itself, they'll try to create an image, create an emotion, and connect it to that product. And therefore, you're not really selling the product, you're selling all that emotional baggage that you are connecting to the actual product. That's another marketing tool, another act of marketing in itself. But in a sense, marketing in general is many things to many different people. And the act of marketing, the marketing industry, does a variety of different things. If we want to look at the official definition, and when I say official, I'm taking this from the American Marketing Association, the AMA, which is one of the largest association communities of professional marketers in the world. And I'll just read this definition for us. Marketing is the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. This is quite, to me, ambiguous and broad definition of marketing. Looking at this definition, you can see that it includes almost every aspect of business, right? Every kind of business, not even things that even make business. So, because we're talking about society at large here. So, the official definition also is so broad and so encompassing of all aspects of business. So, it can be many things to many people because the idea of marketing is so broad to general business, right? So let's take some of those ideas, some concepts, and try to dig a little bit deeper into marketing, right? So traditionally, we have a seller and a buyer, and marketing is trying to bridge these two people, these two parties in an exchange, right? The seller to the buyer and the buyer to the seller. Try to make a bridge between them. Try to connect them in some way. So a seller might have, traditionally, some product, some service, It could even be a new concept or an idea that they're trying to have the someone accept. It could be a belief or some experience that you could give to a person, right? We're moving into this what's called the experience economy, where people are looking to have experiences in their lives that they normally don't or couldn't have. And on the other end of this, mainly we're talking about traditional types of exchanges here. So a buyer will exchange currency, money, give their attention, their time, and their energy to procure those products, that service, or to gain that life experience, right? Just a couple of quick examples, right? You could pay money at the convenience store to get a sandwich, right? You have you traded money for a product. You could, for example, Facebook. They don't take your money, but they need your attention to show you ads. They need your time and energy for you to click on those ads and bring your attention to those products and services, right? So Facebook is not selling you a product for which you will give them money. They're selling the product to you are actually the product in that scenario where your attention is being sold to other marketers, and that could be a whole other road that we can go down in as a discussion as well. So we have this back and forth, and marketing is trying to find the seller that's good for the buyer, and the buyer is trying to find the right seller. And marketing is the activity of making a bridge and connecting those two parties. So if we're doing that, we want to do an analysis, ask a set of questions that are pertinent to the sale of that item and the purchase of that item. So some important questions a marketer might ask about the selling or the product or the service is, who is it useful to? Who is it most useful to? And what is it worth to consumers, right? A lot of the marketing analysis is done in asking potential buyers what they're willing to give up for that specific product. Find a place for it in the buyer's mind, in the buyer's worth. So also, how do you get customers to know about the product, right? So it might be a great product, but you need to educate potential customers not only about what your product is and how much it is and where they can buy it, but why it could be important to them. And sometimes if it's something new, what uses it, how to use it, how to service it, all this type of education that needs to go out to potential customers. And niche is a word that we use a lot in marketing. There are a lot of similar products out there, and you need to sometimes be able to know what those similar products are and how to differentiate your product from other ones. So similar products, so customers, potential buyers, will see two things and they'll need to know which one is better for them. And therefore, if you're a good marketer, you'll know what the similar products are around yours and be able to tell possible buyers what those differences are and why they're good for your particular product and why they should buy your product over others. And the place and how they get exchanged is all part of the marketing process. Do you do it online? Do you do it at a physical store? Do you have some combination of those? What kind of credit cards do you take? Well, how do you exchange the goods or services, the attention for those? Is all part of this whole marketing scheme and these questions that we ask for them. And on the buyer's end, many of the times the buyer is looking for something, but they're not exactly sure what they want. They're not an expert many times about that product. So they need, at least at first, to go out and educate themselves about, for example, they're buying a camera. They need to find out which cameras are good, how cameras work. If I want a camera for this specific purpose, what kind of features do I need on my camera to be able to take good photos, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's not necessarily what they want, what they need, but what they think they should have, right? And then, of course, the buyer has a budget or something that they're willing to spend for that experience or that product. And they have a specific need for their own purposes, right? So someone buying a camera, going back to that example, person that's doing camera work for I don't know, concerts and it's going out at nighttime is going to need a different camera than someone doing weddings out in the open and doing professional work outside and taking photos of people, right? They'll need possibly two different cameras. I'm not a camera expert, but I'd imagine that's so. So what's best for my community, my environment, my situation, right? So taking those two ideas in general and kind of putting that into perspective. If you've ever been in a cereal aisle in America in a grocery store, you'll notice that there are hundreds of different kinds of cereal to eat for breakfast. And so this is marketing gold, as it were. A lot of marketing is happening here, right? We have hundreds of different kinds of cereal. So any customer looking at all these cereals, it's almost impossible to know right away which one is better for them. So you can spend literally days, maybe even weeks, researching all the different types of cereal, their nutritional value, their price, where they get made, all of the environmental impacts, if that's important to you, of all these companies and how they make their cereal, how they treat animals or their employees might be important these days, their political and community and religious connections. This all starts to get very complicated very quickly. Some people just want quick, easy answers to their questions. So a marketer will be able to take their cereal and be able to have you notice it, recognize that it fits your personal needs, and have it be in that price point, that sweet spot where you feel comfortable paying that much for that particular item. And in a grocery store, that might mean you want to place it on a certain eye-level area of shelf. You want to place it next to other like cereals, like health branded cereals, things that are good for you or good for your maybe your digestive system or something in that fashion. So you're in that area, you see it, and then you have different prices to which you can differentiate as quickly as possible those products. If you've never seen a cereal aisle in the States, I recommend watching a video on YouTube about it. It's quite amazing. Much, much different than Japan. Okay, just to review, as we talked about in this video, marketing is different things to different people. The official definition is so broad and so encompassing, it almost sounds like business as usual, business in general. It's very important to the exchange of things. It's the practice of trying to connect the buyer and the seller, or connect different people in the business settings, or people that want to exchange things, right? Helps consumers know what to get, and it helps producers know how to value their products, right? People that are doing marketing often do market research to either help consumers know what's best for them, or to help businesses know what consumers are most likely to buy their product and what that product is worth to different kinds of consumers. Again, this has been Eric talking about what is marketing. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.